the Smiley J Artist Zone, a platform for and about independent artists, music, interviews, and much, much more. Now, give it up. Your host, Smiley J.
Welcome to the Smiley J Artist Zone, a platform dedicated to independent music creators of the world. And I'm your host, Smiley J. Welcome, welcome. I want to welcome everyone. Yes, I am so glad that you guys are hanging out with me today. Yes, indeed. Now, can I just say that, I absolutely love, and appreciate all of my artsy people out there. Yes, you know who you are. Those people who use their hands and their minds to create things that we all love and appreciate it. Yes, just like today's guest. Yes, who's going to be joining us in the Artist Zone in a few short minutes. Now, first I got to shout out my listeners. Yes, I got some new listeners, and I am super excited. My heart is warm. Yes, so I want to shout out all of my new listeners in Australia, Germany, Japan, Canada, Sweden, and Russia. Yes, Russia. What's up? What's up, Russia? Listen, again, my heart is warm. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please continue to listen and share this with a friend, especially if they like to hear new music from these dope, independent music creators who's just making all this great music. So yes, share if you care. Okay? Yes. Now, we're in March, yes. We are celebrating Women's Month all month, and as a matter of fact, this month, the theme for Women's Month is celebrating women who tell their stories. And us women, we always got a lot to say. But yes, we're going to be celebrating and highlighting women who are making contributions in the world, in their communities. So yes, again, like today's guest. Okay, now, before I bring her on, I think I should tell you a little bit about her. She is such an accomplished performer. She is a seasoned multi-instrumentalist, a composer, producer, educator, and mother. I need you guys to please help me welcome today's guest, Miss Marcia Miget. Welcome to the Smiley J Artist Zone. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Smiley J.
Awesome. Look, congratulations to you on your newly released jazz single, We Return.
Thank you. It's been really great sharing it with people. It's gotten a lot of nice airplay, and
yes.
Thanks to Chris Big Dog Davis and Jay Williams, who helped me with the project. It's really a nice thing for me to be proud of.
And you should. And we're going to feature it today on the show and introduce it to the listeners who maybe didn't hear it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Now, look, before we talk about your new music, I would just want my newbies out there listening to the show to know a little bit about you.
Okay.
Now, March, we're in March. It's Women's Month, and the theme is celebrating women who tell our stories. Mm-hmm. And you definitely are shining your light. And I want to personally thank you for your music contributions through the years and making the world a better place through music.
Thank you.
Now, I got to ask you now, do you have a favorite woman in history, past or present, or even a woman in your community that you really admire?
Well, there are several women that I do like to talk about, but the first woman that comes to mind is my mother, who was a very, very strong role model. She brought me up as a classical pianist. She was a jazz drummer and a jazz singer. And so she was quite an influence on my life. I thought she was queen. Mm-hmm. And then I had three sisters who were also very strong, and they're still all in the music business. And so just having strong women in the family was really important to me. One of the first women that I really admired was Mary Lou Williams, who was a great jazz pianist, arranger, and educator. And she taught Charlie Parker how to play. I mean, she was one of Charlie Parker's teachers.
Wow, I'm going to have to read about her. Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
Yeah, and then I saw Sarah Vaughan when I was maybe in my teen years, and she was the most amazing thing I'd ever heard. She sang and played piano. It was It was a jazz festival, Newport Jazz Festival. I think I saw her when I was 17. I also loved Carole King. I was a real Carole King fan.
Yeah.
And I got really heavy into Carla Bley, who's a really very famous jazz arranger and pianist. Flora Purim is a wonderful singer. She just released an album that was up for Grammys, and she's a Brazilian singer, and she's the wife of Airto, who's a very famous percussionist. And I'm going
Wait, what's her name again? Because, I've got to do my homework. What's her name again?
Flora Purim, Florapurum. Flora Purim. I'm going to see Maria Schneider, who is a world-renowned jazz arranger at the Monterey Jazz Festival this year. So there's a lot of women that had a strong influence on me. And there are some of women that were like Jackie Kennedy, some of the president's wives, Betty Ford was very influential. And, of course, Michelle Obama. All of those women made a real impact on my life.
Very great mentionables. Yes. Shout out to all those women that living in Ghana. So we want to remember the folks that are doing wonderful things in the world.
Yeah. And by the way, you're doing some great things, too. And I love your name.
Thank you. I try to do my little part. Yes.
Yeah. And your name, Smiley, it just brings a smile to my face.
Good. That's the intent. I'm glad. I try to sprinkle a little sunshine wherever I go. So
I love that. Yeah. It reminds me of that quote, Mother Teresa, peace begins with a smile.
Yes. Yes. And it does. We need more smiles. We need more smiles, and we need more love. And we need continued good music.
Yeah.
Now, you come from such a talented family. You just mentioned your mom and your sibling and your sisters. And you have children. I mean, your son is a drummer and your daughter is a singer and composer. How cool is that?
Well, it's been in the family for a long time. It's just it is a way of life. It's a lifestyle for sure.
Well, apples don't fall far from the tree. So I'm sure there was a lot of good music in your household.
Oh, yeah. And quite a variety of music. My mom was really, really, really into classical piano, but my dad was a jazz pianist. And we performed on television when we were kids. We did things in 4-part jazz vocal arrangements, sort of like Take Six, or like the High-Lows, or like, 4-part jazz vocal arranging. And we did that quite young. So it was a really, really a great part of my life. And it was very difficult leaving my home when I went off to college, because I had such a great musical experience. And then I had to try to recreate that once I left home, You
have recorded with legendary artists, from many different genres. Now, not every artist had that opportunity. So I guess that comes from just, what is it, relationships and you being a multi-instrumentalist?
Yeah, and I think because I started so young, I knew that I would always be a musician. And when I had these opportunities, I was ready, I mean, I grew up playing such a variety of musical styles. And when I came to San Francisco, I played with a variety of players here. Some of them were like Carlos Santana. I played with him, and I taught his family. I taught all 3 of his kids music lessons.
Oh, my God. That is my favorite. We're going to talk about him in a minute. But yeah.
And then I worked with Anthony Brown in the Asian American Jazz Orchestra. That's totally different. They did sort of traditional jazz with Asian instruments. Wow. And I worked with Lester Chambers, who's a very, very well-known blues player. And then I've done a lot of, gospel music. I was able to play with the Fisk University Concert Choir. So it's just, I think I'm interested in a lot of different kinds of music. And also, I think as a musician, in order to really survive, I think it's important to be versatile.
Yes, yes. Versatility pays, and it expands you and exposes you to different folks. So that's good. Now, tell us what instruments. I know you're a multi-instrumentalist. I know it's the sax, the piano, and what else?
Yeah, and the flute. On We Return. Right. On We Return, it features me on piano and flute, and those are my three basic instruments that I've studied for a very long time.
Now let's talk about it. You are the founder and executive artistic director of, let me get this right, Mira Flores Academy?
Mira Flores Music Academy.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you use music to teach basic skills. Tell us more.
Well, the main goal of Mira Flores Music Academy is to cultivate perception through music education and performance. So basically what we do is we first try to work with two modalities. One would be the traditional modality of learning to read music and learn classical traditions. And then the other is the improvisational modality, where we allow each student to explore music as a language. If you really look at music as a language, we read books, but we also converse. So in that same sense, when we study music at our academy, we learn to read music, but we also learn to converse music, which is basically improvisational. So most of my students, when we do jazz improvisation, we play together. And I start as young as 5 years old.
That was my next question. What are the ages?
Yeah.
That's really dope. Wow.
Well, and it's really natural if you do it that way. And the reason I did it that way was because my parents did it that way with us. So it was a lot of times you'll find people who have only studied jazz and popular music or only studied classical. And so they didn't cross that bridge, But my folks were just so into music and so were we, that we tried to do as many different experiences as we could,
And it works with you guys. So why not have an academy for the young? I love it. I love that.
Well, and the other thing is when we work with a student, we really try to build their self-confidence. We know that not all students are going to become professional musicians, but we know that they'll become better people by studying the arts, studying music. And also, we need jazz audiences too. We need music audience. It's just to bring people together and to unite them as family.
Okay.
Just like what I did, with my family. I'm just trying to pass your tradition on.
That's a good thing. So let's talk about We Return, produced by two-time Grammy-nominated Chris Big Dog Davis. And you guys obviously have worked together before, so the working chemistry is there. What was the inspiration behind the song?
Well, first of all, We Return is a song that I returned to. It's a song that I wrote probably 15 years ago. So I returned to the song. Inside the CD, we have a poem that I wrote about We Return, which I'll read to you, which is, "Who are we? We are love. Fear colors reality. The truth of who we are has never changed. Shifting from fear to love is a miracle. We can choose the miracle and return to who we truly are. We return to love." Now, it's interesting because Chris's thing is all love. That's his main, saying is all love. It's the same thing. And he and I began playing together many years ago back in the Midwest. And it's interesting now when I think about it that there were many years that went by, and then I started reading about Chris because I lost contact with him. And I called him up. I said, let's do some things. Let's do some music. So we were returning to knowing each other again. And
nice.
It's really very cool to be back involved with him because of his brilliance and his vision.
We have two brilliants, collaborating together. So, what you get? You get fire.
Well, yeah. And then when Jay Williams added the drums part, we were just like, oh my gosh, this is just wonderful.
There's so much more to you. I mean, I think I might need a part 2 to just bring you back. But you have so much work. It's like, wow. You've been doing a lot of wonderful things in the music, but I do have a few cool mentionables that I just want to, highlight. You received like a cool shout out from like one of my personal favorite guitarists, Mr. Carlos Santana. I mean, he described your music, and I'm going to quote it, reflects a strong, deep commitment to life. That's really deep.
I was thrilled and honored when he gave me that quote, because it meant a lot to me, because, I began teaching his youngest son, Salvador, when he was 4 years old. And we remained, in contact as his 2 other daughters began to study with me too. And then Carlos and I did a lot of musical events to raise money to help children in need, and to help educational programs for children. And so we did a lot of things together like that. And then we performed on stage several times. And it was just a great experience. Yeah, it was just a great experience. And he's a great guy.
He seems like I know him in my head. Yeah. Shout out, Mr. Carlos Santana. I just love you. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, me too.
more mentionables. Then you were the recipient of the Jazz Hall of Fame in 2019, and you have like tons of credit. I mean, just tons. I would be here all day. But one mentionable is the India and Africa tribute to John Coltrane, another favorite of mine.
Right. I wrote a piece for the Asian American Jazz Orchestra, and it was really an interesting process, because we had Asian instruments from China, Japan, in combination with a jazz combo. And we did quite a few concerts, and it was very well received. So, yeah.
I'm sure. Now, can I tell you, have some song. I listen to your music because I like to know, I like to feel the artist and know a little bit about them through their music. Now, I really like Cruising.
I do too. That was the first one that Chris and I did, and it was one of the only ones that I did where I actually went to his studio, and because everything else we've been doing remote, Okay. But I came to visit him in Connecticut, and we had so much fun recording that song. And I still get requests for that song, and I've done it many different ways too. Because sometimes I'll play it on flute, but sometimes I'll play it. Sometimes I'll play it on piano. Sometimes I'll play it on saxophone. So
see, that's the beauty of being a multi-instrumentalist. See, you have choices.
Well, yeah, and that tune gives you those choices too. That was a tune written by Chris, and it's just a very, very fun tune to recreate.
Yes. Now, speaking of recreating, I love your rendition of Dock of the Bay. Who knew? Who knew?
And that was so inspiring for me to do it, because I had just played with Lester Chambers and Steve Cropper, and Steve at Yoshi's, and Steve Cropper was the composer of that song. So,
nice.
So when I met him, then I started thinking about all the great songs that he played. And then ironically, we released that song, and we found out right before, maybe a couple weeks before we were getting ready to manufacture, that it was a 50-year anniversary of the song.
Did you know that?
We didn't know that
Wow.
until it was like, well, it was right before. And so I made sure to include that on the copy on the CD, but it was like, kind of fun to find out that we were releasing this song 50 years later.
Talk about perfect timing.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
Now, listen, you have this new music out. We return. Any upcoming performances? I thought I saw somewhere that you want to be in the Berks Jazz.
Well, I was in the Berks Jazz last year, but this year I won't be there. But I will be at the Brass City Jazz Festival in the summer, in August.
And where's that?
And that is in Waterbury, Connecticut, and that's produced by Al Taylor. So he's bringing me out for that, and Chris Davis will be on that show, and I think Carl Cox will be on that show.
Oh, yes, another great saxophone. He was a former guest, too.
Yeah, I know. Because I loved your anniversary show that you did. That was such a good show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. And I'm going to have to take a trip up to Connecticut.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Look and see you perform. So, you know what? Sometimes I like to play fun games, especially when my guests are as cool as you.
Let's do it.
Are you there? You see, I knew you were down. I already knew it. Okay, so it's called Fit B. So you got to give me like 20 jumping jacks and 3 push-ups. No, I'm just kidding.
I already did that this morning.
So it's an acronym, fill in the blanks, Fit B. 3 questions, 3 seconds. You ready?
Okay.
So like, what is your like ultimate pet peeve?
Ultimate pet peeve? Not following through with something.
I know all about that. Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
I know all too well about that. Now, if you had a chance to collaborate with any iconic legend, living or dead, who would that be?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Chick Corea. I did get to play with Chick Corea, but I would love to have played with Chick Corea more because I think his work was so significant. But yes. That's the first thing that comes to mind is Chick Corea.
Well, there we go. We're going to go with that. Thank you. See, that was fun, right?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
So I want to thank you for hanging out with me today in the Artist Zone. It was fun like I knew it would be. But listen, before you go, I need you to tell the folks where they can, stay in the know about, everything that Marcia has going on.
Yeah, well, the thing is I've got a website. It's www.mee-j.com. And I also wanted to mention, I forgot to mention this, that, I worked on music for a documentary about the life of Cesar Chavez, and we're trying to get this documentary in every school in the United States.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
So, yeah, and it's sort of being pioneered by, it's now, Harvard has kind of taken it on, and they've decided that they really want to promote this project. So we're doing a big concert where they're showing the documentary, and then we're playing music after in Monterey.
Oh,
and that'll be March 31st.
That's really coming up soon.
Yeah, and that's really something more students should learn about Cesar Chavez.
Send me some information. I want to post that and to the folks who don't hear the show or they go back. Yeah, if you could send me some information on that, that's really cool.
The documentary is called Song for Cesar.
Nice. That is wonderful. So again, you give out your website again and give out all of your social media platforms.
Oh, okay. So the website is www.mee-j.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And you can find that all on the website too.
And of course, you can download We Return on all digital music platforms.
That's right.
Yes. Well, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. And I think I may have to head on up to Connecticut in August.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to meet you.
Yes. Why not, right?
Yeah. It's a Saturday. Yeah, I think it's the 5th of August.
A couple of hours up the road.
All right. So keep smiling, Smiley J.
I shall. And you keep making that good music.
Thank you.
Fear to Love. I love that.
Fear to Love, that's right. We return from Fear to Love, that's right.
I love it. Until next time, be well, stay safe, and keep making that good music.
Thank you, Smiley J.
You're welcome.
This is producer, songwriter, and artist Terrence Thompson, and you're in the Smiley J Artist Zone.
All right, it's that time. Yes, all good things come to an end, but it was fun. It was educational, and I learned so much today from Marcia. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I get super excited when I learn new things. Yes, I just have a passion for learning. Now, you guys, you know the rules around these parts. You like what you heard today, you go ahead and download her song and add it to your favorite cool playlist. Now, to all my artist friends out there, Marcia is an active on-call studio musician. So if you need her for your next music project, go ahead and hit her up and tell her Smiley J sent you. And just know that you will be in good hands. Now remember, Marcia is coming to the East Coast. Yeah, she's going to be performing at the Berks Jazz Festival. So make sure you put it on your calendars and come on out and jam. Yes, it's going to be some good music performers. Now, you guys know that I will continue to be celebrating Women's Month all month. Yes. Now, if you, all my dedicated listeners out there, if you want to support the Smiley J Artist Zone show, just know that I do take and accept donations, and all donations are tax deductible. Yes, you can send it to paypal.me/Smiley J Artist Zone or Cash App $TSJAZ, and all donations are appreciated. Until next time, you guys know, you know what? Hold up. As Marcia Miget would say, listen with your heart. Yes. Until next time, be well, stay safe, and remember to listen to good music. Your ears will thank you for it. I'm Smiley J, and I'm out.